Hello everyone, I'm Berfin Necimoglu, a second-year English track student from Sciences Po Paris, Campus-Menton. Now you might question, why on earth would I start one of the most important speeches of my life with a sentence like that? Of all the quotes, catchphrases, hooks that I could use, why would I choose that one? There are millions of university students around the world, 13,000 of which they're studying in Sciences Po Paris. Clearly, I'm not the only one with that title. And college admission process is made out of different steps according to different institutions. Yet I believe it's not just about your SAT scores or your GPA, but more about your personality. Because I wouldn't be acquiring that title of a Sciences Po student if it wasn't for my personality. You see, this is the report that was written about me after my interview for Sciences Po in May 2015. One of the hardest 20 minutes of my academic life, talking about Middle Eastern politics, Middle Eastern conflicts, commenting on articles that I've never read before. It was rather challenging for me, I'm not gonna lie. And towards the end of my interview, one of my interviewers asked me if I could tell them a book that I've recently read. She probably understood that I was not capable of answering any more questions related to politics. But I also realized that it might be an interview trick. She wanted me to make something up, something that I didn't actually read. And I was confident enough, not to fall into this trap. Because I thought I already lost everything that I had. So I said to her, which was the truth, the last book that I read was Kürk Mantolu Madonna. Yeah, that is the exact same reaction that I got from her. She had no clue what I was talking about. It was a Turkish novel, and I didn't even translate the title of the novel. But then this made me realize that the tables were actually turning around for me. So I was like, I gained my confidence back, and I was like, oh, you don't know? It was a very famous one in Turkey. Okay, let me tell you about something that you might know, as if I knew what I was talking about. And I told him about the other novel that I recently read, which was Veronica Decides to Die. It has nothing to do with politics. It's a psychological novel. It's about a girl who fails to commit suicide and is taken to a mental hospital where she learns the value of life and love. I mean, where's the politics in this? There is, huh? Wait. Because in that hospital, Veronica also learns how to listen to people. And I personally believe that a politician should be a good listener above anything else. So that's what I told him with the exact same confidence that I have in front of you right now. But I went out of the interview and I went to my parents and said, no, there's no way that I'm getting in. They hated me. I could see it on their faces. Turns out I can't read faces, and Sciences Po admissions had a very good poker face because I did get in, but not because they loved my problématique about Veronica or how I presented or what I said. No, they loved how I said it, how I presented my arguments. So when I saw this report last year, March, it brought the inevitable question into mind. Why do we give more importance to our grades, to our titles, than our personality? It was my personality that helped me in that interview. So why are we afraid of showing who we are? Do we always have to be trapped somewhere to reach out for our personality? Can't we use it always? And to question these a bit more, and to find answers to these questions, let's take the simplest yet most effective example possible. Introducing yourselves. What do you think matters when you introduce yourself to someone? Your name, your title, your university, your high school, or simply your qualities and what makes you you, your creativity, your character? According to Sciences Po students, it's name that matters, only name. As I answered this question, how do you introduce yourself to someone you've just met? They say name, only, sufficient. And when you think about it, duh, name, what am I gonna tell them, my star sign? Okay. But they answered very differently to the second question that I have, because they told me they don't actually remember the name of the people that they met. Okay. So the idea is here that Sciences Po students, including me, choose to introduce themselves with their names, and their names only, but don't actually remember the names that they were introduced by. Okay. And to give you another scale in this question of name, here's what I found from my own country. These are the most common 5 male and female names recorded in Turkey, according to Turkish Statistical Institute and General Directorate of Civil Registration and Nationality. And the first two of each are given up to 2 million people. Okay, so I'm asking you once again, what is going to set us apart from all those people who share the same name with us when that is how we try to introduce ourselves? And my answer to that question would be personality. As I'm standing here in front of you right now, I'm sure and I'm steady and I know that personality matters. Over the years, politicians, debaters, scholars have shown us the importance of personality de facto. For those who can remember, not that long ago, in 1829, Andrew Jackson ran for the US presidential elections with the slogan of John Quincy Adams, his opponent, who can write, or Andrew Jackson, who can fight. And this shows the significance of one's personality over the substance of their work. It is what leads to populism, whether you support it or not, and cults of personality in politics, the phenomenon of charismatic leaders. Much can be said about the wide array of charismatic leaders that the world has seen, as they have enjoyed varying levels of success on the job with different qualities and politics. But one thing that they have in common is that people vote for them. People elect them because they like the way they speak, the way they just are. Because on that report, you saw Sciences Po basically liked nothing about my academic abilities. It was just how I spoke. But also, when we think about politicians, scholars, historians that the world has seen, there's not that many that we can remember. Think about it. People who you consider that have changed the world. How many you can count? For me, it's not that many. Handful, maybe more than a handful. For example, Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft, is known for his dedication and hard work, whereas Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, is known for his wit, creative thinking, and eccentric personality. Both can be considered as equally successful in their fields, but it is Jobs that comes to mind as an innovator. We do have stronger emotional ties when we use Apple products, don't we, than any other phones or computers. And this ties into the image of Jobs and what he has created, his personality as we saw it. He made it cool to be a college dropout or being fired from your very own company. I don't think that's an easy feat to accomplish. But normatively speaking, the last two examples that I've given, Andrew Jackson and Steve Jobs, can be considered as I would like to call them, positive personalities. They put a smile on our faces. When we think about these people, we feel happy. But a personality does not necessarily have to be good or positive for you to notice it, right? Right, because just after I asked that question, you thought about a specific person who you don't want to actually admit that has a strong personality. You might not like the way they lead their lives, the way they approach things. But just after I asked that question, even though it was a rhetorical one, you thought about him or her, which proves that they made you remember them. And those are the personalities that can turn heads around when they enter a room. A very recent example can be given as Donald Trump. It is widely said and known by his supporters that they find him honest and frank, and they look beyond the elements in his policies that they disagree with. Some may be immune to this charm, and some might support it, but it is pointless to deny that there is a charm which awarded him the presidency. He made everyone remember him. And those are the personalities that are strong enough to be politicians, debaters, scholars, strong enough to make them them and take them who they are, where they are standing right now, and is definitely strong enough to make us who we are. But another thing that all these examples that I've given so far have in common is the fact that they had their time and chance. Unfortunately, not all of us have the luck to be in the public eye and attract masses with our personality. Some of us try, never get the chance. Some of us do get the chance. Some of us just don't care. For some, it doesn't matter to be remembered by masses. It's just that one person that matters, whether it be an important individual or someone you love. Think about how happy when you feel when someone goes to you and says, "Oh yeah, I remember you. You're the clumsy one, aren't you?" So how do we reach to this point? How do we make someone remember us? But more importantly, how do we make ourselves believe that personality matters? Of course, it's not something that can happen in a day, in a blink of an eye. It's a process. It has to be taken step by step. But the first thing that we can do, our first step can be changing the way we introduce ourselves. Next chance we have, lunch break, tonight's party, or any part of our lives. When we introduce ourselves to someone, let's not be like, "Hello, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so university studying so-and-so." Ha! Or, "I'm so-and-so from so-and-so company doing so-and-so." Your business card is for that. Every necessary information is written down there. But what we're trying to do is to make that person who you've given the card to smile, grin, or even frown when they find that card in the hidden places of their wallet 5 months after you've given it to them. My grandfather, a parliament member, told me that he shakes up to 2,000 hands in a propaganda day, and 250 to 300 in a regular day. And when I asked him how many of these people he can actually remember, he told me 25, maybe 30. And when I asked him again, why so little, he told me, I quote, "Child, I meet numerous people under the same title, under the same company, doing the same job, under the same name even. And the ones that I do remember are the ones that they can make a funny comment about politics or introduce themselves creatively or tell me genuinely and bluntly how they actually don't agree with my politics," unquote. So going back to what I said, let's try to use the next chance we have. Instead of presenting ourselves with a generic title, let's present what matters to us, what makes us us. Because even though if they might hate it, which is quite possible, I'm telling you, been there, done that, they'll for sure remember it. I know what you're thinking right now. At least I think I know what you're thinking right now. Because about 15 minutes ago, I introduced myself to you with the words, "Hello, I'm Berfin Necimoglu, a second-year English track student from TEDxSciencesPoCampusMenton. And no, I am not contradicting myself. Because that was just to show you that when we all go out of this room, that name, that title, is not going to be anything but a small detail in a person's personality. The world might be a stage, as they say, and we are all merely the speakers. But unfortunately, we don't always have 15 minutes. So we have to make the most of our limited time. So allow me once again. Hello, you know what? Forget it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.